All right, think I'm live. It's hard to tell when this thing goes live. I don't want to get cut off. Welcome to the class war, to the struggle. It's late at night. Uh, for those who have been hitting the subscribe button and joining the family, thank you. Salute to you. Appreciate it. This week has been devastating for my family. Uh, so it's been a rough week, but I gave you my word. I'd be here every weekday, 5 days a week, and I'm here. It's late at night on Friday, but I gave you my word. And if you're new to the class war, the struggle, usually I'm a little more chipper than this. I got a little more energy most of the time. And I usually bring you some news, entertainment, something fascinating to speak about. And everything relates to the class war. You know, it ain't left versus right, it's up versus down. Uh, but tonight, I guess my story really has to do with the class war. Let me talk a little more about my story because the stress I'm under, if you could tell, I'm still wearing the same clothes as yesterday. It's been a debilitating depression, a paralyzing stress that I'm under. I haven't gotten into why, and I will at some point, but I'm not ready to talk about it. But years ago, let's see, almost 15 years ago, when my mom died, I didn't have a panic attack like after my dad died. The only panic attack I've ever had in my life, up until last Wednesday. Man, almost 20 years. Two panic attacks in 20 years. Not bad. I can usually handle a good amount of stress. But you know, after my mom died, there was a bleak outlook I had on life. A lot of people would say, like, don't worry, just hang in there, things will get better, silver lining, yada, 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 living the dream, all that stuff. But I watched my mom work her tail off, fight and protest and fight for better conditions, and on her radio show interview people and try to get to the root of, you know, following the money, trying to get to the root of the wrongs in this system that we have set up here. And I remember after my dad died, I told my mom, I said, promise me you ain't gonna die. Which sounds like a wild thing, but remember, I was a young kid and I really didn't want to lose my mom. And she promised me like a good parent would. And, you know, then she went to sleep a couple years later and never woke up. And the despair I felt after that was much different than the despair I felt after my dad died. Because my youngest brother, was with both my parents at the time of their death. My youngest brother was living with my mom and had to find her when she passed. He's the one who called me. And I remember thinking, what a cold world, man. This kid who's so young had to witness both his parents die firsthand. And you think in a country that claims to value its citizens, just like all these corporations. Spent 20 years in radio and I listened to these CEOs and managers say, you radio hosts are the lifeblood of the company. We wouldn't have a company without the talent that you guys are. And they didn't mean any of it. They didn't want to pay us. They fought us tooth and nail for every nickel. They overworked us, underpaid us. It, it just didn't make sense. If you said somebody is like the heart of your existence, you'd think they'd be treated so much better. Just like America claims, you know, it cares about its citizens, cares about Americans. I watched my brother, who was very, very young, in his teens, lose both his parents and have absolutely no safety net. No one, nothing. Couldn't get the mental health care he needed, couldn't get any kind of help. The youth in this country, and so many people, I mean, I've argued with people online, I've argued with people in person, where so many people just go, well, if you can't make it, you live with your parents until you can afford to buy a home, until you can afford to move out. And I ask them, what about the people who don't have parents? There's many, many children who don't have parents or have a single parent that just can't survive or whatever it is. What about them? Do they just get forgotten? Or because you're not in that situation, do they just not exist in your reality? And that was the despair I felt, knowing that I could only do so much to help my youngest brother. And he came and lived with me and my other brother, but I couldn't afford him the help that he needed. I mean, we spent the last of my mom's funeral money. You know, people usually start a little collection plate and put in some dough for after the post funeral to help with things, or at least they did in me and my young brother's case, which was unbelievably kind of my family and friends and strangers. I mean, it was unreal, very humbling. And with that small amount of money, I used my portion to help my brother get into a rehab. You know, I figured it was the best investment I could make. That rehab was thousands of dollars, a few $1,000s. And I gave it all to him because I had hope. But I'll never forget thinking, like, this is crazy to just get help. And we had to drive hours up to LA or Santa Monica or somewhere just to have an open bed. There were no open beds in San Diego. Just to find a place to get him in for the night. We had to drive hours and then pay thousands of dollars. And I thought, there's so many people that can't afford this. I'm fortunate. I had to use funeral money to pay for it, but I just felt blessed that I could even hand over that wad of cash. I mean, it didn't pan out. My brother left that rehab within a couple days. And I felt a little betrayed because I had used so much money. And I felt really hurt and really scared for him. But the whole time in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, like, what kind of country is this? What kind of country just doesn't care for the youth? Does nothing to protect them, does nothing to set up any kind of system that if they lose everything, they're not totally hopeless. Their pipeline isn't just to become a criminal because they need to steal to eat. That they can't get mental health care because they don't have insurance or can't afford it. I guess these are all the things that radicalized me. Very simple things. Watching my youngest brother spiral down because both our parents died. And he had no way to get himself on his feet. There's no way to get housing, no way to get insurance. When you need that kind of, remember, you gotta remember, this isn't like a 30-year-old man we're talking about. This kid was in his teens. The mental snap that happens when you go through these traumatic experiences is not something you can easily recover from. And I speak on that from experience. But I'm his older brother, so I'm what, 6 years older? I don't remember, I think 5 years older? I don't remember. And now here we are, like 15 years later, and he's been homeless. I don't know if he's alive. If you're alive, Alex, I love you. I miss you. Reach out to us. And so many people defend these systems that we have in place that are just ruthless amongst the most vulnerable. That I wonder if they just never experienced it, never had to witness it, or just don't know, or just kind of ignorant to it. Because there are some things you could tell me about injustice, and I don't need to experience to understand that it's wrong, that I can fight for and not have to live through. I wonder why so many people, especially the people that call themselves Jesusans, the Christians, that's all I've been doing the past couple of days. I don't know if you ever read the book of Samuel. It talks about the story of David and how King Saul sought after to kill David, even after David's rise and David killing Goliath, the Philistine. It's a fascinating and really, like, it's a page turner, no joke. The book of Samuel in the Bible. It's all I've been able to do is read the Bible. Got devastating news on Wednesday. Had a panic attack. Had to leave work. And the only comfort, the only thing to truly like take my mind off things is just being nose deep in that Bible. So I'm telling you, if you're looking for a good read, and it truly, it's an amazing, incredible story, read the book of Samuel. King David was unreal, unreal, the life he lived. And the way he spoke to God, I admire that. But these people that say they believe in Jesus and then have the least compassion and the least empathy for their neighbors. And mind you, when I say neighbors, I don't just mean the people living directly next to you. I mean people in surrounding communities, surrounding states. When I say neighbors, I mean the human race of neighbors. So it bums me out, man, when you see so many people that claim to follow a radical leader, Yeshua, Jesus, who believed in just giving to the poor. He didn't have a home. He never carried cash. And he just fed people that were hungry. He had compassion and empathy and love for children. He healed people. He wept when friends died. And he wept when he watched the loved ones of those who had lost someone. It's baffling to me how so many people in this country are so caught up in the fanaticism of their political belief that they fail to see their neighbors struggling, or the selfishness of what about me-isms, that they neglect to see a system that will hurt them just as much as it hurts everybody else, but they're willing to forego that pain as long as somebody else doesn't get something that they won't get. Selfishness, the stuff that this country does, the fake pull yourself up by the bootstraps, the fake rugged individualism doesn't exist. A lot of these people that claim to have done it by themselves lived with their parents for a long time, got a loan from their parents, had family, connections, whatever it was. I won't go into all the stories. I'm not saying it's everyone, but I'm just saying. Even Mr. Beast just said in an interview yesterday, he said it bums him out to see these wannabe YouTube influencers dropping out of school or quitting jobs. Because he said, my scenario is 1 in 1,000, 1 in a million. Again, that's a loose quote. But even he recognizes, like, not everybody is this self-made miracle story that everybody likes to claim. That's why I love that Cat Williams interview, because he called it out. He was like, Steve Harvey stole my story. I was homeless. And that's the thing that I get mad at too, when you see these rich people claim to be self-made and tell other people to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. But then you find out about those rich people's story and they hide a lot of it. Like the guy I work for lived with his parents most of his life. Parents were rich, helped him establish himself. And the reason I get mad at that is because you take away from the people who, like myself, lost my parents at a young age, and every climb, every step of my journey, I had to do it by myself, living in a car, living on couches, begging, finding food any way I could get, and they take it away. Meanwhile, I was sitting right across from him, making a lot of money, and I got there, not living at home, not living in the same town like he did all his life. And they rob that struggle from you, and they make it seem like it's so easy to do. And the worst part about it is they sell it back to the people like everybody can do it. You just need to work harder. And the truth is not everybody can do it. And I sat across from that dude and said, "Man, you lack empathy. I understand that if anybody's saying they're coming from a situation like mine, I have compassion for that because I know that struggle. I'm well versed in that." And after my mom died, and I witnessed what my younger brothers had to go through, I realized, anybody who can get through that and just come out kind of on their own 2 feet is truly a miracle. Because we lost my youngest brother. I don't know if he's alive. He's been homeless for a long time, and he needs a lot of help if he is alive. But I've seen my other brother come out standing on 2 feet, and to me, that's a miracle. It's miraculous. I've seen a lot of my close friends come through hell. And you know what they all have in common? All these people that I've watched go through hell and come out standing, they'll never turn around and spit on somebody in the struggle. They'll never turn around and say, "Yo, you just got to work harder." They're the ones who turn around and reach a hand out and go, "These are the times you got to lean on me." The compassion and the empathy after you've known that hell is a bond you make with everybody. I wish I could talk longer. I wish I had something more to bring you, but I'm going through hell right now. Absolute hell. Look at me. I'm wearing the same clothes. I ain't showered. I'm trying to keep it together for my kids because my 2 little kids are the strongest little kids I've ever seen. They have such good hearts, and our family's going through hell, going through absolute hell. The most terrifying is the unknowing part. That's the most terrifying thing, when everything is ripped out from under you and you just don't know what tomorrow brings. And to watch a 9 and a 10-year-old go through that and still smile or laugh, God, that is the true sound of joy. Um, but I gave you my word I'll be here every weekday, 5 days a week, so I'm here. And I promise you, the class war, this live stream, the struggle will return to its normal programming. I'll bring you some fire, some class war stuff, some stuff that's ironic for us calling ourselves the land of the free. But for right now, I'm trying to keep my head afloat. I'm doing the best I can. And I encourage you, read the book of Samuel. It is a good read. That's what I'm going to go back to doing. Because my mind is consumed right now. Stress is a powerful, powerful thing. And, if you're going through the struggle, solidarity with you. My heart goes out to you. I send you good vibes, good energy. I'll pray for you. Leave it in the comments what you're going through if you're open to sharing, and I'll pray directly for that. And to everybody who has subscribed to my channel and joined this little family, uh, you've been one of the highlights of my week. Hearing my kids laugh, talking to my family, and my friends who I consider family. I got more friends that are my family than That's my family. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. Uh, and seeing the subscribers and the people leaving comments and just the conversations we're having, it's my dream, man, to open up, to keep doing this class war, this struggle podcast, live stream, whatever you want to call it, and to start more dialogues and hopefully unite people and stop seeing so many differences and start seeing some human commonalities. Because once we do that, we have the power. And uniting that power, we can change. We can build this world into whatever we want it to be. We, the people, can do that. But we got to come together. Whatever we see the future, we can build it. Just like the founders of this country, they built it from scratch. They took from the French. They took from, what was it, the Greeks. They took from all different kinds of things, and they built it and molded it and made it malleable, and shaped it and forged it to what they wanted it to be. And there's no reason we can't do that. Absolutely none. This is the land of the free, right? So I encourage you to share this with a friend. I encourage you to hit that little subscribe button. It's free for you, and I'm telling you, it means the world to me. When I see new subscribers, my God, thank you so much. You're helping me hold on right now. So all those new subscribers, you're part of the reason I'm staying afloat. I'm keeping my head above water. I see some hope, and you're doing that for me. So thank you. I genuinely mean that. And it's crazy to think I'm doing this live stream at one of the lowest points in my life. But I gave you my word I'd be here. I gave you my word. So I'm here. And I promise they're not all going to be like this, okay? I'm going to do some research and find some stuff. But just this week, the devastating news and just trying to be there for my family and my kids. So this, I want to say, hasn't been my main focus, but I got a lot on my plate. Maybe I'll stop by this weekend, drop in for a live stream. If not, I'm back Monday, irregardless of how things are going. I'm here. I gave you my word, 5 days a week. This is what I want to do for my life. This is what I want to do for a living. Do this class war, make some funny videos, do some shorts, show you guys, if you haven't seen the short of my cat on my shoulders. I thought when we got a cat, the thing would be independent. This cat, as soon as I get home, I'm in the house, will climb up me wherever I am, put its claws out, dig into me, because she wants to lay on my shoulders. I have to carry a cat around on my shoulders. Weirdest thing I've ever experienced. I had to call my cousin and say, "You like cats? Is this normal?" She said, "Yeah, she'll grow out of it." I said, "The cat's like 6. When do they grow out of it?" It's good to laugh. So yeah, thanks for hitting subscribe, and when you do, hit the little notification bell, because I can give you my word that I'm going live 5 days a week. I cannot promise what time. As you see, it's almost the crack of midnight. You can tell I had a meltdown this week because my hair used to be 10 inches longer, and I went all Britney Spears, just cut it off. I'm having a rough one. So if you're the praying type, please pray for me and my family. And I promise at some point I'll share more about what we're going through. It directly is a result of the class war. And it's heartbreaking. Heartbreaking to watch children have to endure. But we'll come out stronger. Thank you for watching the class war. Solidarity to you. Workers of the world, unite. It's the only way we're going to make it through this thing. Community. And if you believe in Jesus, if you're a Jeeson, as I like to call him, the radical teacher, the radical rabbi, if you believe in him, then you understand community is the most important thing. That's all he wanted to build, a loving community. It's a radical message that still rings true to this day. He says, "You have heard to love your neighbor." Well, what better is that than the tax collector? Doesn't even he love people who love him? He says, "I tell you to love your enemy." A radical message at the time, and still to this day. Still difficult to do. I love his teachings. Nothing like it in the world. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, because I give you my word, I go 5 days a week. That's why you see me here distraught and desolate and depressed and stressed out. But I gave you my word, I'm here. Um, and from time to time, I'll talk more about my story. I lost my dad, lost my mom, lost my youngest brother, lost some close friends. And I think it's important for people to understand why I speak up, why I'm passionate about the things I am, and why I fight for people, even when they fight against their best interests, because I believe we can make this world something better. I believe we can make this country what we want. I believe we got to fight these corrupt politicians and the corrupt money and the corporations that just want more and more, and their insatiable greed to meet Wall Street's expectations. That's all you hear about on the earnings calls. Go read any Financial Times. They'll mention Wall Street's expectations, which, if you can guess what those are more profits every quarter. Wall Street never expects you to make less and just make it more affordable. They want it all. And they'll crash everything and then get bailed out just to do it again. So that's why I'm trying to unite people, because we can all fight against this evil. Thank you for watching, whether you did it now or did it later. Hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell, and solidarity.